What's going on YouTube? So a couple months ago we reviewed the all-new 330i, and it was just as impressive as we expected from such an iconic car. But that was the base 4-cylinder model, so we are definitely excited to be here at BMW of Cincinnati North to check out the M Sport version, which adds even more performance all around. Of course, if you're in the market for any new BMW, be sure to stop by their beautiful dealership or visit them via their website, which we provided a link to in the video description. So with that said, let's see if the 3 Series formula has been improved on once again. So getting started with the exterior. Obviously, since this is still a 3 Series, the styling is mostly the same, just more aggressive. The grille here is traced in a smoked chrome, and you have dotted vertical lines running through it. The lower areas are also more aggressive looking, and compared to the M Sport 330i, the fog lights have been eliminated in favor of a brake cooling duct. The headlights have not been changed, so every model comes with full LED ones, though going for our model's executive package throws in adaptive laser light headlights with an updated lighting signature. Now, as far as all the rest of the styling, again, some things have been updated to let people know all the extra performance on board. The biggest things are the large squared off exhaust outlets and gray diffuser, though you do also have a small lip spoiler versus the 330i. As far as the taillights, they continue to be nice looking full LED lights with the cool 3D design. So overall, the M340i does a great job of building upon the already good looks of the regular 3 Series. And it will definitely draw some attention when finished in provocative colors like this blue. Now moving on to the wheels, as expected, there are plenty of different options. What we have are probably the most eye-catching of the bunch, the optional 19-inch jet black alloys. However, for those of you who prefer more of a contrast look, there are 3 other 19-inch wheel options. Finally, the standard option is an 18-inch double spoke alloy. Heading to the mirrors, they are fully loaded on the 340, with heating, power folding, and auto dimming on all models, plus blind spot monitoring when equipped with the driving assistance package. And then as far as all your other advanced safety features, like the 330i, they are available in a couple tiers. All models will come standard with automatic emergency braking, and the driver's assistance package includes a lane departure warning and cross-traffic alert with rear automatic braking. Finally, the most advanced systems are added with the driver's assistance professional package, which gives you adaptive cruise with stop and go, plus the extended traffic jam assist, which can completely take over driving on highways when the speed is under 37 miles per hour. And lastly, here on the outside, we have a 15.6 gallon fuel tank, which is good for 590 miles of range. And of course, it does use premium unleaded fuel. But anyways, that's it for the exterior. So now let's hop inside and see what's different in there. So of course, as you would expect, every M340i does come standard with BMW's intelligent entry system, and their very nice key fob with real metal trim along the side. You do also have remote start available from the fob if you choose that standalone option. But anyways, to get inside the vehicle, all you have to do is reach behind the handle since there is a sensor, and when you do, the mirrors will deploy out. Alright, so checking out the cabin. As you would expect, it does have mostly the same cabin as the new 3 Series, which just came out a couple months ago. Now, like every BMW, you do have several different options in terms of customizability, So you start out with black Sensatec leatherette. However, like this model, most of the models will come with real Vernasca leather as an option in either this black, mocha, oyster, or a cognac color. You also have a lot of different trim choices, so you can choose between open pore oak, open pore maple, brown ash, aluminum tetragon, or on this particular model we have the aluminum mesh. Now turning over here to your door trim, it is very nicely appointed. You have a soft touch armrest as well as a nice leatherette above it with some color contrast stitching. Of course, all 4 of your windows are one-touch automatic, and you do have standard 2-person memory seating. Now turning over here to your seat, all models do come standard with this 14-way power adjusting seat. It does have 4-way lumbar support, as well as a side bolster adjustment, which is really nice in a sporty car like this, and a manual thigh extension. Then, like I was saying, this is the optional Vernasca leather. It is real leather, feels very nice, and they definitely do a good job making the stitching design very attractive, and you even have the little M detail right here. So like I already said, the cabin is mostly familiar to the all-new 3 Series we reviewed about a month ago. And that does mean you have very nice materials on board. So across your upper dash, you do have a soft touch plastic with a nice blue color contrast stitching detail. And then dropping down to the middle, you have a real aluminum trim. This is the tetragon finish. And then you have the brushed finish through this part. And then dropping down to the middle, you have more generous use of this real aluminum trim all through here. And of course, everything does fit together very well. Naturally, you do have standard push button start. And when you press it, you'll notice the standard 10.25-inch display fire up here in the middle. But that sound right there, that's the real reason you get the M340i. Now what you're looking at over here in terms of the gauges is the 12.3-inch live cockpit professional setup. This is standard on the M340i. And as you can see, it's just a big display. It is fully reconfigurable. You even have some cool things like we can cycle to a G meter, so that's very neat to see that right here on the display. Additionally, when you choose to have the premium package, you will also add in the head-up display. But anyways, moving back to the steering wheel, this being the M Sport model, you do have the standard M steering wheel. It's 3 spokes, you have real aluminum, it is leather wrapped, it feels very nice in the hand. Now as far as your buttons, these are for your adaptive cruise control. You do have the leather wrapped airbag cover as well. And then over here, you've got your phone, voice commands, and audio functions. Across all models, you have standard rain sensing wipers, as well as standard paddle shifters, as you would expect. And then the wheel itself is manual tilt and telescoping, as well as heated if you choose the premium package. But anyways, moving on to interior storage, as we said in our previous 3 Series review, you actually have more storage on board than a lot of the competition. So starting out over here with your center console, pull this out here, and you can see this is actually very deep. You do have a nice pad here which is removable if it gets dirty. In addition, you do have one of your USB Type-C ports right there. In addition to that large console, though, you will find another big storage area up here in the front. And we do also have the optional wireless phone charging pad right there, in addition to our other USB port. Now, of course, like most other BMW models, you do have a space-saving electronic shifter, and it's operated in the same way as always. So you just press the side unlock button and pull back for drive. Then you can bump over here to the left to activate the manual mode. And you can control that right here or through the standard aluminum paddle shifters, which I already pointed out. Heading into reverse, you will see the 360-degree camera system fire up. This is standard on the M340i, where it is an option on the 330i. And as you can see, this is one of the best 360 cameras in the business. You get your traditional view as well as your 360 view, and the camera does also turn as you turn the steering wheel, which is definitely very handy. Now, one of the cool features of this is that you can go and click this 3D view. And when I do that, I now have this full 3D view of the vehicle, and I can just use the control knob here to spin around and see all the surroundings. So definitely a very nice setup. Additionally, you will notice you have automatic parallel and perpendicular parking, as well as the backup assist, which can retrace any route you've previously pulled into. And then for park, all you gotta do is just press the little P. Now, as far as what's around the shifter, you have an electronic parking brake and auto brake hold feature. And then you will also notice your 4 drive modes right here with shortcut buttons. So we have a Comfort, Eco, Pro, Sport, and then we have an adaptive mode, which can basically sense the way you're driving and the surroundings that you're in and adapt to the ideal mode. Right over here next to that, you have your iDrive controller for the new iDrive 7.0 system, as well as some shortcut buttons in front of that. The next thing to check out is the audio system. Now, the standard system on this car is a 205 watt 10 speaker audio system. However, this one is equipped with the 463 watt 16 speaker Harman Kardon premium audio system. So we'll go ahead and take a sample of that. Overall, this is definitely a great sounding sound system. Now, moving on up, the next row of buttons is for your 3-zone automatic climate control. So you just adjust the temperature right here with this little metal toggle for both sides, as well as your fan speed and zones right here. And then you will also notice this button off to the side. This is for your 3-stage heated seats. They're available as a standalone option or via the premium package. However, you cannot get seat ventilation on this car. But anyways, that pretty much brings us up here to our brand new iDrive 7.0 system. So let's go ahead and take a quick look. Checking out the iDrive 7.0 system, this is all new, so it does have some new features. Now, chiefly among them, what I've already pointed out is that this is now a touch display. So I can come up here and I can simply touch things. I no longer have to live exclusively with the control knob, but I do still have that if you don't want to put fingerprints on it or whatnot. Now, what you're looking at right now is your home screen, and you can just click on these things to expand them. So as we go into our standard navigation system, as you can see, it is very detailed, and pinch to zoom does work very nicely as well. You can simply change the settings over here as well, or you can go to a split screen where you can keep the navigation over here and all your other functions on this side. Hey BMW, I'm
Hello.
cold.
What temperature should I set?
78.
I'm setting the temperature on the driver's side to 78 degrees Fahrenheit.
Last thing I'll click on is the applications. And as you see, there's nothing in here right now at this moment. But I do want to say that this does come standard with Apple CarPlay. It's wireless Apple CarPlay. So that's free for 1 year. You do have to pay a subscription after that. and there is no Android Auto at this point. But anyways, that basically sums up the main features of the iDrive 7 system. However, we will make a more detailed tech help video available for those of you who want to learn more. A link to that will be provided in the video description. Moving on up from that, you will find a standard auto-dimming mirror with your 3 HomeLink universal remotes underneath. And then you will also find a standard panoramic moonroof. So as you can see, that goes back pretty long ways, and it does open up just like normal to give you a lot of open air, and you have a wind buffer as well. But overall, I have to say I'm very impressed by the cabin of the M340i. You know, just like the 3 Series, it's just an impressive place to spend time. You definitely have very nice and high quality materials and a really beautiful design. But anyways, now I'll go ahead and hand it off to Mason, who will check out all the back areas.
Alrighty, so checking out the rear seat of the 2020 BMW M340i, you're going to find a very class competitive amount of space. You'll find 35 inches of rear leg room and 38 inches of rear headroom, which does place it right on par with the Mercedes C43 and Audi S4. Now turning over here to the door trim, in typical BMW fashion, it is finished really nicely. So you have a leather wrapped armrest, as well as color contrast leather above that, and a really nice aluminum door handle. Now down below that we have a speaker grille, as well as a little bit of door storage. Now turning over to the seat itself is a beautiful design. As you can see, you have color contrast blue stitching here in the middle, and it's a really intricate, beautiful design. Now down in the center, just like the regular 3 Series, you will find standard vents across all trims of the M340i, and down below that you will also find your own climate controls. So all you have to do is push this button, and you can adjust your own temperatures, as well as set it to an automatic mode. Now off to the side you will notice that you do have heated rear seats. They are 3 stages, and they can be included in the premium package or as a standalone option. Now down below that you have 2 USB ports. These are the smart charging type C ports, as well as a 12-volt power outlet. Now as you would expect, the center armrest does fold down, and inside you do have some pop-out cup holders. Now up top you do have some LED lighting, a really nice headliner, and beside that an assist grip and coat hook. Now going back to the space, behind your seating position I have plenty of it, so I have about 4 to 5 inches of rear leg room, and my feet can easily slide up under the seat. However, looking over here at the passenger seat, this is with the seat adjusted all the way back, which I really don't think you'll be able to do unless you have a really tall passenger up front. But this is a little limited, but that is definitely expected for the class. But overall, I'm a really big fan of this M340i's rear seat. There's every feature you could ever want back here. You have your own climate controls, heated rear seats, and it's a really opulent place to spend time, and there's also plenty of space for its class. Now coming around to the trunk, we have opted for the standalone power trunk, so all we have to do is locate the button under the lid and it will open right up. Now once inside, you're going to find 17 cubic feet of space, which is a lot larger than most of the rivals like the Audi S4 and Mercedes C43. And as you can tell, you can definitely benefit from all that space, so we have a ton of floor mats back here, as well as our camera bag and tripod, and there is tons of space to spare. Now you will also notice that we have some storage compartments here to the side, as well as a really nice carpeted floorboard. And if you need more space, you can fold the seats 40-20-40 split. Now coming over to the passenger seat, you will notice that same lovely design. And it is also 14-way power adjusting, just like the driver's. And you have your side bolster adjustment as well over here, as well as your thigh extension. Now in front of the passenger, of course, you do have nice materials. So you have this beautiful real aluminum trim, so it's a padded dashboard. And down below that, you have a good sized glove box that is really nicely felt lined. Up top, you do have a sun visor with an LED light and mirror, and it does also detach and extend. But anyway, guys, that sums up all of the boring aspects of the M340i. So now let's go ahead and get to the real reason why you buy this over a regular 330i.
Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about this car's powertrain, which of course is the real reason you're interested in the car to start with. So when you go for the M340i, you're going to get upgraded from the 4-cylinder turbo to the turbo inline 6. And that's going to be making 127 horsepower more than the 330i, 382 horsepower, and 369 pound-feet of torque. And for those of you wondering, that is right in line with what you get from the C43 AMG as well as the Audi S4. Power is delivered via an 8-speed automatic transmission to the rear wheels or all 4 wheels. And altogether, that's going to get you a 0 to 60 in only 4.2 seconds.
Wow,
which is definitely very really fast. And that is indeed faster than the C43 or the Audi S4. And then finally, for your fuel economy, all that extra performance is going to penalize you about 5 mpg combined from the 330i. So your rating is going to be 22 city, 30 highway, 25 combined, and that's for both rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. But anyways, now let's go ahead and take it on a drive. Well, first taking off. Definitely can feel that power. Wow, yes, definitely. Very, very impressive acceleration, to say the least. In the regular 3 Series, the 330i is actually quite quick to start with, so I definitely I knew that this would feel extremely fast, and indeed it does. Now the auto start-stop system just engaged, so we'll go ahead and see how quickly it restarted. Definitely did a very good job. Extremely smooth.
I definitely have to say that is a lot smoother than the Mercedes C43. And just hitting that pothole there, I do want to mention something really fast. And that's that this car has a standard M Sport suspension. However, this particular model that we have here with us today has the optional adaptive suspension. And I can definitely tell that difference, actually. So like we keep mentioning, we were in the 330i M Sport about a month or two ago, and I can tell that this car actually rides a lot better than that car. And I say that because when I hit a bump or something, it doesn't transfer as much into the cabin as it did in that vehicle. And basically that's because it can sense how you're driving and then adjust the dampers according to that. So right now where we're sitting in traffic and
we're in the comfort mode
and in the comfort mode, it's going to really soften up that suspension and make sure that you don't feel the bumps, whereas before it kind of was sporty all the time.
Definitely addictive listening to that.
Yeah.
Inline 6-cylinder. Now, I do want to talk about the steering a little bit. I'd like to find an actual corner to go around, but we don't really know where we're at exactly. So, and we're in a big city. But you can definitely tell just by driving around a little bit just how responsive this steering is. BMW always does an excellent job, and they've definitely really done a great job here on the M340i. And you can tell it's lightning fast, really quick responding. It also has a really excellent feeling heft to it. I like a heavy steering setup, and it's not like super heavy or anything, but it's just right. It's exactly the type of heft you want, so you can really have that great road feel and tell exactly where your wheels are placed.
And this car does have a perfect 50-50 weight distribution. So BMW really has worked on the dynamics of this car. The 3 Series has always been known for that, and this is no different.
That's right. Now there's one more sport mode. There's actually a Sport Plus mode that we can toggle into. And that even further enhances it's your extra dynamic setting, as they say here. And that gets the exhaust to its maximum, best sounding. That's where you get all the pops and crackles. So we definitely want to engage that and drive around for a bit and listen to that.
While we're sitting here, I guess this is a little bit of a testament to how great this car sounds and drives, is that I'm getting really, really frustrated sitting here in traffic. So I know BMW drivers are notorious for speeding around and whizzing through traffic, but I kind of understand now that I'm in an M340i, because it's so satisfying to drive around that you kind of just want to ram everybody off the road and say, get the heck out of my way.
Slowness is really obnoxious. Traffic is really annoying. It definitely really amps things up. That sounds amazing. When you get off the throttle, you can listen to it crackle. Really addictive. Like, this is the mode I'd be driving around in all the time.
Wow.
We'll also try out the manual mode as well.
I love the
I was just about to say, huge smile on my face. Something about a burble. Not many cars can give you that, you know. And now here, with this car, I mean, it's definitely good that they brought things like that down to this, you know, not being a full-fledged M. You don't have to go there now. You can have this, which is very everyday livable still, and then also have all the fun still, too. Yeah, this car just begs to go fast. Of course, I mean, you're also going to take some self-control as well if you have this car. You know, so you might find yourself in a little bit of trouble with the police if
you know, but you don't have to be going super fast to enjoy it, because you can shift into manual mode and you can get the burbles and...
Right, exactly. I was going 40. I'm within the speed limit, but yet I'm still having a lot of fun, and I'm still have a huge smile on my face because I'm just listening to that engine sing and those burbles and shifting manually, and it is just, it's still a blast even here in traffic. Sounds so good at any speed.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you might think that about $10,000 or more price premium over the regular 330i might be a little bit much, but this engine, I mean, if you're an auto enthusiast, it's almost invaluable. To have that noise, it's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, if you have any doubts once you start driving it, I think you're going to be convinced. I don't know if I mentioned it already or not, but this 8-speed automatic is excellent. Fires out shifts like basically as fast as a dual clutch. Responds to the paddles no matter what, and it responds to them instantly, so it gives you full control. You know, those are pretty much the things you're looking for in a sports sedan, and it definitely kills it. And of course, when you have it in comfort mode or whatnot, if the shifting is, you almost can't discern it at all. It just kind of blends into the background, so having that dual character is exactly, pretty much encompasses the whole car. I mean, that's really, to conclude, that is the amazing thing about this car, as well as other cars in this class, is that dual character, how well they can do both things. It's never ceases to amaze me how you can have something that's really a true sports sedan. It is just excellent driving, puts a big grin on your face, but it's also something you can, you know, ride your kids around in, ride your mother around in, you know. No one's gonna get their back is not gonna be hurting when you're done. You know, it's comfortable, and it's an everyday livable vehicle while still being just loads of fun.
Alrighty, and as far as the pricing is concerned for the M340i, it is a little bit of a price increase over the 330i. So for the very base model, it's going to come in at $54,000, and if you want xDrive, all-wheel drive, that's going to add $2,000 to that, so $56,000. Now this one, as with pretty much every BMW we review, has quite a few options on top of it. This is about as expensive as you can get it. So we have the beautiful blue paint for $550, black leather with blue stitching for $1,450, the driver's assistance package for $500, the driver's assistance pro package for $1,700, the premium package for $1,400, heated rear seats for $350, the executive package for $2,100, remote engine start for $300, 19-inch wheels for $600, the adaptive M suspension for $700, a power tailgate for $250, ambient lighting for $250, wireless charging for $500, an upgraded sound system for $875, load sill paint protection, as was the destination charge of $995. So all told, this particular model as equipped is $68,615, which, like I mentioned, is about as expensive as this car can get. And that is right in line with the C43, which we did just about a month ago. It was right at this price point. So it's definitely in line with a lot of its rivals, and you're definitely getting a lot of performance for the money. Well guys, we hope you enjoyed watching one of the first in-depth looks at the 2020 BMW M340i. Please hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.
Mm-hmm.